Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over a build video for this beautiful small form factor RTX 4080 Super 7800X 3D in an NRP200 Max case. This is going to be a little different than a beautiful B-roll type of video. It's going to be a beginner kind of trying their best, showing you all the mistakes made along the way. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Hey, what is going on YouTube? Today I have an awesome video for you guys. I'm going to be building my first PC inside of the NR2P100 Max. Now, I made a video on this, just kind of me opening the case and showing my first impressions if you guys are curious about that. But today I'm actually going to be throwing this bad boy together. And if you look around the table here, I will be utilizing the NVIDIA RTX 4080 Super blacked out edition, the AMD 7800X 3D, the ROG B650EI Alumino P, the CORSAIR DDR5 6000 megahertz, Samsung's good old 5th generation 990 2TB SSD, and also, just to top it off, a nice little icing on the cake, if you will, got some thermal Grizzly to, seal it all together. So this is going to be a learning process for myself and hopefully for you if you have not built a PC before. I've primarily only gotten like either pre-built PCs or laptops. My current desk setup right now is rocking a laptop, my M16 2023 with a 4080. I'm thinking that this is gonna just kind of kick it over the edge just a bit in terms of performance. I'm very excited to get this going, and without further ado, let's hop right into this. Alright, first things first, let's get into the motherboard. Based off of all of the PC builds that I have watched on YouTube for endless hours, this is the first thing that you gotta get going on. Really quick, let's go through the accessories. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Don't know what this is. Bubble wrap. Don't know what that is. That's pretty neat. Zip ties. Cool. Interesting. Now this looks like the actual antenna for Wi-Fi 6E. Dang, I am going to lose these. I don't know what that is. Books and stuff. That's pretty sick. Let's take this bad boy out of the ESD bag. Little kind of side note slash question. Drop it down in the comments below if you know the answer. Do you guys like ground yourselves when you build a PC? Yeah, I have worked with electronics in my past, and that seems to be the protocol, but I never see anyone do it. Just curious. Alright, so now that we got the motherboard out and about, time to unbox this bad boy. And for just being like a CPU, this box is like pretty sick. Alright, what's all this other space here? Is it nothingness? Wow, this is one giant piece of foam? What the heck? Alright, well, you got a pretty dope little Ryzen sticker, so if I put that on my PC, that's at least plus 5 FPS. So now, I will open this up, push down on this. Does that not lift anything up? Do I need to do something else? Oh, okay. Now here is where you want to be extra careful. I'll kind of lift it to show you guys. That didn't work out. There's a little white corner piece here. You just need to make sure that that lines up with your CPU. Make sure you don't crush any of those thingamajigs or anything right there. That wasn't nearly as bad as I anticipated. Drop that down. And then this is gonna pop, I think. And it didn't pop. Okay, I'm concerned. All right, take two. All right, cool, yeah. That wasn't nervous at all. All right, CPU's in. Now it's time to go to the RAM and the SSD. I think I'm going to go with the SSD first. So for every little screwdriver thing you see here, I'll be using this iFixit kit that comes with all of this stuff. So just in case you guys were curious about the tools needed. By the way, I heard it's important to save this just in case you want to like save this motherboard for later, that you use this to protect the pins on the motherboard. Dang, these screws are pretty on there. You kind of have to give her the beans. Yeah, so these screws are definitely captive on this motherboard. Now let's get into the Samsung 990 EVO 2TB SSD. Completely destroyed that box. Very simple packaging here, nothing too crazy. Alright, so before I take this out, I'm going to take off this little sticker of death that is on here. Take that out, place this in here. Yeah, that's right side up. You can kind of tell by that little key there. Just sort of gently push her in, like so. And you'll kind of see that right here, this little screw hole aligns nice and easy. So I do not believe that there is a screw to screw this down with. Alright, now that that is nice and seated, we are just going to do this. Oh, I think this is like a toolless little lock here. Nice and pushed down. And lock it into place. Yeah, so that little lever kind of allows you to not need a screwdriver to lock that down. So now that's good to go. Time to take this little sticker of death off. Dang, this thing's made out of Play-Doh. Alright, I did it. As you can see, my greasy little palms left all those smudges. And just line her back up. Easy does it. I feel like that deserves a sticker pull. Ooh. Next up, we got our RAM. No RGB here. Nice and clean. Now, when you install this, you just look for that little key and that key here, make sure it lines up. Also want to open these bad mama jammas up. That one doesn't move. Okay, so the top moves, bottom doesn't. Good to know. Oh my goodness. I almost pushed through the box of the motherboard trying to get that in. Alright, now that is good to go. As far as right now, we are good on the motherboard. Now let's move on to the case. Alright, first things first is we're going to break this down. Silly goose. Alright, I'm also going to remove the GPU bracket thingamajig. Always nice to have the iFixit little screwdriver thing. Oh, these are so torqued in there, it's crazy. Pop that right off. Easy day. Now I'm going to remove the bottom plate by removing this one screw here. comes off, and now we build. First, let's get all these cables out of the way. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of cables. So now we're going to install the motherboard. There are little screw standoffs here, 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 and here. So let's slide that in real quick and use the hardware that came with the case to make that happen. Alright, let's set this bad mamma jamma in. Okay, my hands don't fit. First time PC builder problems. I'm gonna throw up. I need to take off all these stickers before I can't. Okay, stress level's increasing. Okay, all right. Now that this stressful endeavor of putting this in is over, let me screw this in. 4 screws that came with the case. Yeah, so just to give you guys an idea of how much cable craziness is going on, take a look at that. It's alright, we got this. So now we're looking for these 3 here, and we're going to plug them in. So that one goes here. This HD audio cable goes to the left side of the motherboard, and this doohickey goes on the right side. Alright, so this one here is kind of gonna be confusing, because if you could see, it's missing a pin right there. I don't know which one is pinless, but okay, let's figure this out. Alright, we just kind of sent it there, hoping for the best. Next is the 8-pin CPU power connector. So it's an 8-pin connector, but with 2 4-pin cables. I felt a click. The CPU cables connected. Let's go. Alright, next is the larger 24-pin motherboard connector here on the right. This one seems pretty cut and dry. I could see why small form factor cases are harder to build in, because there's not very much space for activities here. Alright, nice and clicked in. Dang, look at all that. Now let's figure out what cables are here and what we need. Don't know what that is. Okay, PCIe, that sounds familiar. These cables are locked in together for some reason. Alright, I will not be using this SATA power cable, so I'm going to unplug it and move this bad mamma jamma to the side. So next, we're going to be installing the CPU cooler bracket. I think I done goofed and installed these silver screws when I should have used these black screws in this little bag for the motherboard, but we're just gonna use these little black screws and see what happens. You know what? I feel like I need to replace these silver screws now that I know that I done goof. So let me just do that real quick. Okay, screws have been replaced, and you see, that's why you should read instructions, especially when you are a first-time PC builder. But let's get these brackets installed on this bad boy. And peel that off because it's in the way. One-handing this is gonna be kind of rough. Dang. Why did that feel like that was getting screwed in there so good? Okay. There are no threads on the CPU cooler. Interesting. Learning has occurred. This goes like so. You have to screw this in underneath. Alright, how do I get this on here now? Oh boy. Now there's water in here, right? So I don't wanna... Alright, more learning is occurring. This is not the right orientation to screw this in. This is going to be a 3-hour long video of me just learning what not to do. And hopefully you guys learning the same. Alright. I finally have figured it out, full orientation to not get in line with those water coolers. Next up, thermal paste. Alright, so the Cooler Master case does come with its own thermal solution, but I'm going to be using some thermal Grizzly. Alrighty, let's take that little thing off and apply a pea-size amount right here. Some right there, some right there, some right there. Okay, that is definitely more than a pea, but we're going to let it ride. Next up, you just align these thumb screws together, tighten them both down, nice and tight. Now that seems like it's on there, and it's good to go. Next we have this little pump cable. It's 3 pins, and find the CPU fan header. Alright, after many manual readings later, I found this little CPU fan header cable tucked away, hidden in there. I thought, you know, maybe I was missing something, something's going wrong, but just need to feed this through the back of the case and stick that into the motherboard. Alright, so now I have the AIO pump and the CPU fan header here. So one thing I was a little curious about, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but CPU fan is to the left, AIO pump in the middle, and chassis fan to the right. I think this is a CPU fan, so I'm gonna just go with that. So now that I have hooked up those 2 CPU fan cooling thingamajigs, I'm gonna try and tidy up my little cable mess. Here is the star of the hour. Got a nice little tear tab here. Another tear tab on this side. This one does not want to tear as easily. Oh, that was loud. And now, the moment I have been waiting for. Dang, that is a nice presentation, if I do say so myself. Wow. Oh my goodness, this thing is hefty. Oh, these new cards are just absolutely gorgeous. And this feels super premium. My goodness. It's hilarious to think my laptop has a 4080 in it when, you know, this bad mamma jamma is a 4080 right here. Alright, let's see what else comes in the box. Okay. Now, this is the cable that we are going to need. It's 3 8-pin connectors to the high voltage 12 volt thingamajig, something like that. And it gives you a nice little how-to guide. Yeah, so that is pretty cut and dry. Time to figure out this cable mess here. Is there a reason why they're all like entangled like this? Okay, but it has like back cables as well. I'm kind of confused. There's like 4 8-pin connector thingamajigs. Question is, does it matter which one of these do I use? All right, now I have those 3 8-pin connectors ready. I have to say it's kind of strange to have to like, I don't know if this is for like lesser GPUs that they add this. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this little extra set here. I'm assuming if you have a 4090 then you'll use this, or maybe a AMD Radeon 7000 XTX or whatever that's called. Okay, let me try and tidy this up the best I can. Alright, so that is not very pretty. I will be the first to say that, but as far as like how many cables there are in here with the weird angles and whatnot, I just can't seem to like, especially this bundle. I think this is just where this is going to live for now. So next we're going to take off this little cover thingamajig here to put onto the graphics card. And these little things slide off depending on how many slots your GPU has. And you can see the rails line up here. I'm going to be putting those 2 screws back in, just right there. Alright, that is on there nice and snug now. Next, I'm going to take this little GPU condom off. Okay, now it's time to slide this behemoth in here. Alright, now that this is firmly seated in here, I'm going to get the riser cable that came with the NR200, put it in the motherboard, and then the GPU. These pump cables are going to be a problem. Alright, the GPU will fly away if you hold this upside down. That does not seem very good. I'm pretty sure I know I got the GPU portion of this locked in. Don't know if I have a warm and fuzzy about the CPU or the motherboard rather, but I think it'll be alright. Now that that's in there, let's plug in the power cable. Make sure that that's nice and snug. Alright, all that pain and misery. No sounds are happening. Turns out there is a little power switch in there. Now, moment of truth. See, the worst part about this is I want to check my connections because it's not turning on, but I got this behemoth in the way, so time to start troubleshooting. Alright, I've completely discombobulated this, reseated all of these connections, just to see if this turns on without the GPU installed. As you can see, there are some lights there, so okay, so even though I have some lights here, nothing's happening. So I finally got the PC to boot, and that's because I was originally connecting the front panel power button thingamajig there, when in reality it needs to get plugged in right here, and it needs to be oriented so the little divot is facing this way. And I found that out by actually looking at the manual. Alright, so I have installed the front panel header into the correct socket of the motherboard. I actually turned this on using the iGPU with the 7800X3D. It booted on fine. GPU installed now. So, moment of truth. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Alright, saw a YouTube video on this because this is what happened when I did the iGPU boot up. Just push Y. Alright. Look at that thing go. So I am going to run through the BIOS setup, I think, and such a beautiful screen. And I'm gonna drop a YouTube video down below of all the steps I'm gonna follow to do this, just because if I add this in, it'll be a little too long. So I'll get back with you guys once the BIOS is all set up and once I have installed all the correct drivers and whatnot. So just so you guys can get an idea of the sounds that you'll be hearing, my GPU is currently sitting at 63 degrees Celsius. This is with the glass on. CPU is at 73 degrees Celsius. And my mic is literally right down here. I am playing with my headset on, which is why you guys cannot hear anything, but hopefully my voice and that gives you an idea of how quiet this actually is when you are playing. Now, I have noticed a little bit of coil whine, but I think that's just kind of like a silicone lottery type of thing, and honestly, once I actually move this back there, I'll probably never notice it. For what it's worth, I'm also getting about 180 to 200 frames at 1440p with all of the settings completely maxed out. So I know I could get more settings dang. I know I could get more frames if I put on, he's just sitting there. I know I could get more frames if I put some sweat settings on, but right now my monitor is 1440p 165 hertz, so I'm just kind of having fun seeing what a maxed out Warzone game looks like. Well, as you can see, absolutely whisper quiet in my humble opinion. Alright, you guys, that is all that I have for you today. I think that this is an amazing PC if you'd like to build it. Hopefully you learn from all of the rookie mistakes that I made. I would like to think that the coil whine may be solved if I get a cable that has 3 8-pin slots, which I have on the way. It is this cable right here. I'll be linking that down in the description just in case you guys want to grab it yourselves. Other than that, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It is by far the hardest video I have ever had to throw together. I really hope you enjoyed it. Other than that, like, sub, all that good stuff. Have a great day. Catch you in the next one.